There's a teaching of the Alter Rebbe, a very powerful teaching. All the Rebbes, including the Baal Shem Tov, had this custom. They would ask their children, "What do you remember?" The purpose of asking this question was in order to engrave into their hearts and minds things that they saw when they were very, very young. So the previous Rebbe said that when he was very little, his father would ask him, "What do you remember?" And because he asked him this question, he was able to picture in himself things that he saw in Lubavitch, beautiful memories, because of that question. That was something that all the Rebbes, including these words, "What do you remember?" they come from the Baal Shem Tov. What do you remember? So there are some things that we've heard from trusted people, and some things we've seen with our eyes. So, for example, Yechezkel Hanavi, he was shown the third Beis HaMikdash. But how was he shown the third Beis HaMikdash? He was shown it in a prophecy. He didn't see it with his eyes. However, before Moshe Rabbeinu built the tabernacle, Hashem showed him with his eyes. He saw physically with his eyes. He saw exactly how the tabernacle was going to look. It wasn't just something you saw in prophecy. Prophecy is still not so vivid. Even if you have a vivid prophecy like Moshe Rabbeinu, it's still not the same thing as seeing with your eyes. Moshe is unique among all prophets, but seeing with your eyes is something different. So when Hashem showed Moshe Rabbeinu the tabernacle that he had to build, Hashem showed it to him with his eyes. He saw it with his eyes. And then Hashem told him, just like I showed this to you, you should command the Jewish people. So this is what you should tell the Jewish people. When you command the Jewish people about lighting the menorah and how the menorah should be built, it should be the same way like you've seen it with your eyes. So and this was not just an instruction to Moshe Rabbeinu, it's also an instruction to each of us. When you share something, if you could share something that you heard from a rabbi, and if you say, "I heard it," so you're there. You're sort of separating between the message that you heard by your ego. I heard it. Versus if you try to convey something yourself with your eyes, then there's no you anymore. Then it's more transparent. It's going directly from whoever taught it to you. Let's say you learned something from your grandfather. You learned something from your great grandfather. Something from your teacher. If you saw it with your eyes, then the way you transmit it is a whole different. It's whole different. You're not transmitting a idea. You're transmitting an experience. You're transmitting something that you've experienced. You're giving over the experience. So in a similar way, whatever we study in Torah, we can study in Torah as an idea, or we study in Torah as an experience. And the Baal Shem Tov taught that Torah has to be experienced. That's why he wanted his children, and he wanted all the Rebbes to have this question, "What do you remember?" So that the things that they saw, they should picture, they should have them as vivid memories in their eyes. Things they shouldn't be forgotten. So this week there's a very powerful message, and the message is something which is relevant to each of us in our own way. But I hope that tonight we don't just share a message and information. I hope we could look at it with our eyes. This week we learn about a question that every thinking person asks themselves at one stage of their life or another. Every person asks themselves, what is my mission in life? What is my unique thing that Hashem put me in this world for? And everyone has stages where they go through different things. When you're in kindergarten, you think you want to be an astronaut. You get into another grade, you think you want to be a fireman. Everyone has different things they go through, and the question is, there's a real answer to that question. And how do you figure out the answer to that question? How do you know what your unique thing is that you're supposed to give the world? How do you know? This guy came to his rabbi. He says, "Rabbi, I'm not sure which profession I should take. I don't know if I should become an actor or a singer." The rabbi says, "An actor." He says, "Why? How, you've seen me act?" He says, "No, but I've heard you sing." So this week, we're reading about the division of the land of Israel. Israel was divided. Israel was divided through three different methods. It's very fascinating. On the one hand, Israel was divided in logic. There were bigger tribes, there were smaller tribes, and so the way Israel was divided was that, according to Orach Chaim, they divided the land according, not just according to the size of the tribes. I think there were 57 families. Or am I confusing the families with the 57 Heinz varieties? I don't remember. Anyways, so there's 57 families, and therefore, based upon the number of families of each tribe, number of people of each tribe, that's how the land was divided. Bigger tribe, bigger part of the land, bigger portion. On the other hand, the Torah says there was more than that. Elazar, the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, he put 24 pieces of paper into a box. And there had 12 pieces of paper which said the names of each tribe, and 12 pieces of paper that described certain areas in Israel. Let's say this is the hilly area of, this is the desert, this is where the water, whatever, however they described various parts of Israel, they put these 24 pieces of paper into this box. And Elazar the Kohen Gadol, according to some opinions, he heard a voice from Shammai, and it said, if you will pick out the tribe of Reuven, then they'll pick out together with this area of Israel. And exactly what he predicted, that's how the lottery would work. He said, if I'm going to pick out the tribe of Shimon, the tribe of Shabsi, I'm going to pick out area C. If I pick out the tribe of David, I'm going to pick out, Reuven and Shimon, fine, Shabsi and David. Sorry, just want to say hello. Shout out to Shabsi. Shabsi, welcome back. It's been a while.
Thank you.
Let's say, those who have glasses, please say l'chaim for Reb Shabsi to full kreva shlema.
Amen.
Shabsi, what's your name?
Sorry.
What's your name, Shabsi?
Shabsi ben Ida, Shabsi ben Shmuel.
Your mother's name?
Ben Ida, Shabsi ben Ida.
Shabsi ben Ida? Ida. Full kreva shlema.
Yeah, Amen.
So, the division of the land of Israel is not just a division of geography. It's a division of our portion in life. Where Hashem has put us in life, exactly where we are in life, that's what the division of Israel is about. Israel is not just a country, it's not just a place. We can see today in the world that it's not just like a country, it's not a country. There's no country in the world that has a similar attention to Israel, not even 1% to how much attention of the whole world is on Israel. We know that we see with our eyes, and that's because Israel represents each of us. Each of us we're Jewish, we're from the land of Israel, and just like Israel was divided, everyone had a different portion of the land of Israel, so too in the role of Hashem's desire to have a home in this world, everyone has their portion. What's your portion? It says in the Torah, Kabid es Hashem mehincha. I think it's in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 8, verse 9. Honor Hashem from your wealth. And the Talmud explains in the Psikta, chapter Chafei, honor Hashem with what Hashem has graced you with. Mimash akavas Hashem mehoincha. The literal words are honor Hashem from your wealth, but the Psikta explains Mimash achanoncha Hashem, from what Hashem has graced you with. If Hashem has graced you with a child, give him a circumcision, says the Psikta. If Hashem has graced you with a courtyard, erect a sukkah in your courtyard. If Hashem has graced you with a beautiful voice, be the chazan, be the cantor, say the shema in a sweet voice. That's what the Psikta tells us. Everyone has a unique thing, and everyone has to realize that the reason you were given this thing is for a purpose. The Gemara says...
Didn't you mention it a couple of weeks ago?
Not this Psikta, no. So maybe, I don't remember. The Rashbats, this I did mention maybe.
No,
The Rashbats, a famous Hasidic mentor, he was once at a Fabringen. It's an amazing story.
I didn't know how big am I?
Yes, very good. Zora's keeping track. Excellent. He said, I didn't properly estimate my gifts, how gifted I was. And people thought he was like, no, you really are so smart. You really are so special. No, he said, I know, you misunderstand me. I'm a lot smarter, and I'm a lot more gifted, and a lot more talented than I thought I was. If I properly would have estimated my gifts, what happened was he was saying such brilliant things. People were asking him, have you ever made a mistake in your life? He says, yes, I made a mistake. The mistake I made was I didn't realize, I didn't estimate my gifts. It sounded like he was being humble. No, he was saying, I have so much things Hashem gave me, I need to use it.
We don't realize.
And the Rebbe Ashab told the previous Rebbe, this is what Chassidus, what he said is in sync with the real meaning of Chassidus. have to realize the gifts that you have. Let me say it this way. It says in the Talmud, the world did not deserve to have gold. Gold is a luxury. Why was gold given to the world? Because we have to build a home for Hashem, to build a tabernacle, to build the temple in Jerusalem. That's why Hashem gave gold to the world. If you want to know what your mission is in the world, look at the thing you have that's a luxury. You can get by in the world with a lot less than you have. You can have an average mind and an average heart and average resources to get by in the world. But then there's some things that Hashem gave you that are unique to you, that you have unique, and maybe you don't know what those things are. Sometimes only a friend could tell you what you have because of your humility. You may not know. Like in this school, they had this great custom. Beginning of school, the teacher would ask everyone, write down 3 good things that your friend does, that your friend has. 3 good things that your friend's character. So write it down about Rabbi Yisrael Weiss, guy with such good energy, always so generous, always so giving, always so happy. So you write that down on a piece of paper, give it to Yisrael Weiss, so always like, it gives him strength, it opens you up. Like, wow, I do have all these things. Did you know that? You know that. I hope you knew those things. I didn't have to tell you that, did I? Anyways, but that's true. A lot of times we don't realize the gifts that we have. Like Rabbi, I need to tell you, Rabbi, Baruch Hashem, day in, day out, in the sake of all the Jewish people, saying Kaddish, what kind of consistency, kind of devotion that is, no matter how hard it is, he gets up and he's there. And so many other people come to the shul and they're greeted with a smile and they're greeted with friendliness and they're asked what they need. Someone's there and he keeps the door of the Rebbe's address on Pico Boulevard, keeping it open. That's a big thing. He's opening the gate, opening the door for a person to connect to Hashem. It's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. It's an amazing thing. So everyone has their unique gift among many others. I just mentioned a few, Rabbi and Bisrael. Just to start. I don't want to. So by realizing and acknowledging the gifts that Hashem gives you, it opens you up. It opens you up and makes you want to put yourself into to give to Hashem. There's a list in the Torah portion of the families of the Jewish people. It says L'Yetzer Mishpachas HaYitzri L'Shilem Mishpachas HaShilemi. To the man named Yetzer, he had a family named Yitzri, and a man named Shilem had a family named Shilemi. So Rabbi Michal Zlotchever once said, Yetzer refers to evil inclination. If someone wants to go after evil inclination, then that path is open. But if someone wants to go towards perfection, he wants to fulfill their mission in the world, then they can get there if they want to get there. There was a very interesting passage in the Talmud about the story of Yaakov Avinu. We all know that Yaakov Avinu went to sleep, and he saw angels going up the ladder and angels going down the ladder. Now you'd think if angels are coming from heaven, they first go down the ladder from heaven, and they go up the ladder. But in Yaakov's dream, first the angels go up, then the angels go down. What's going on? So the Talmud says the angels went up the ladder. They saw, and then all the way up to the top of the ladder, what did they see? They saw an image of Yaakov in the throne of Hashem. Wow. Then they look down at Yaakov, he's sleeping. Like this guy is so much more than he is. He is so much more than just sleeping. But sometimes we just sleep. We have so much more, and we just sleep. And the angels wanted to attack Yaakov, a different story, but the point is that we have so much more in us than we have. That's what they say, Kafa Kela is. One of the things that is done to a soul in order to enter hell, as a prelude to enter Gan Eden, to get into hell you have to also work hard. So one of the things that's done in hell is called a slingshot. Oversimplifying the slingshot is intensive psychotherapy. What happens is that you feel you're in this world, and you're just going about your day, regular things that you do, but you're seeing it from the perspective of your neshama. So your neshama, like, has a chance to do a mitzvah, you're not doing the mitzvah, you know what kind of pain it is for the neshama? Pain, how the soul has pain? Like, you feel, I forget that mitzvah, I'll do it later. But you feel from the perspective of your neshama, you feel like, in other words, what we're shown in the world to come is how much more we really are. As Rebbe once said about the Baal Shem Tov, that the Baal Shem Tov, as much as we know about the Baal Shem Tov, we know less than a drop in the ocean of who he really was. And the Baal Shem Tov, when he wanted to get closer to Hashem, what would he do? you give a child a candy, you answer Amen to a child's bracha. For him to get higher, and Hashem to go higher. So we have no understanding of who we are and what we're really doing in this world. But this is the Torah telling us that we have to acknowledge the gifts Hashem gives us in order to be able to fulfill the mission. Now, sometimes Hashem gives you a very hard mission, and it's big. It's a big thing. There's a Jew whose friend, his fourth child was autistic, severely autistic. And this Jew, a friend of mine, he went to visit this guy, and he sees his autistic child. I think he was 4 years old, and he's sitting in front of a wall and he's banging his head against the wall. And the father, his face is shining, he's happy, and my friend asked him, like, how do you do it? How are you able to do this? So he said, listen, when his child was born, he said he was so depressed, he was so down, he was so despondent, he couldn't go to work. But then he read something in an article that really revived him. What do you read? He said, imagine you go to a wedding and you meet someone. And you ask them, what do you do for a living? The guy says, you know what I do? I try to understand autistic children. I try to help them. And I do this for free. What do you do? You hear something. You take your hat off. Like, wow, that's an amazing thing. What a person trying to understand. You know, the Baal Shem Tov, imagine like the greatest teacher needs to be given to a difficult student. So these children, Hashem has so many children, and some of them are autistic. And in order to be able to handle the hardest children, you have to be a really special teacher. So this guy said to himself, you know, that's exactly what happened to him. Hashem gave him an autistic child, Chon al-Islam, and together with this, why does Hashem choose him to have this autistic child? It's because Hashem saw in him something he didn't see in himself. He saw that he has this unique ability, he has this unique gift. He's able to relate to Hashem's special child. This is the meaning of La'arav Tarba Nachalasei. A bigger portion is a bigger share. The bigger amount of people have a bigger share in Israel. If you see Hashem has given you a big challenge, La'arav, you've given a bigger you must have.
You have to be anybody.
You must have a big gift. Hashem has given you a big challenge. It's impossible that Hashem has given you something you cannot handle. The fact that you see that Hashem has given you a big challenge, that means that you have something very unique in you that you're able to handle that big challenge. But the question is, why me? As everyone asks, why me? Why do I have to have this? Why do I have this challenge? And that's what the Torah tells us about the raffle, about the goyrel. Israel was divided through a raffle. What's the meaning of a raffle? A raffle is not logical. There was a logical element, as we said before, everyone has their share, that's true. But there's another element in Israel, in the division of the land of Israel, in your soul's section in the world, what you have to accomplish in the world. There's something else that you have. Something else that's relevant to this story. And that is, people think that Hashem's mitzvahs, we know some of the reason, but Hashem has a much deeper reason. Hashem has a much deeper reason for his mitzvahs. It's far more significant than what we know. But that's also a mistake. Why is that a mistake? Hashem created logic and reason. The very fact you could say why about something means that something else existed before. In other words, if A is the cause for B, then A existed before B. If Hashem has a reason for something, that means something else existed before Hashem to make him do something. But he created everything. He's the first. He created it all. He created logic, created everything. You cannot say about Hashem that there's a reason. The idea of a reason, about a cause for something, means that there's something else before. That's causing, that's forcing, that's pushing. Hashem doesn't have a cause. Hashem doesn't have anything that's pushing him. He created everything. So a mitzvah that Hashem has given us is his will. He decided. It's a will of Hashem. And therefore, Lama Yemru Hagoyim, his expression, it says in Tehillim, why do the Gentiles say, where is their God? But Hasidim say, Lama Yemru Hagoyim. It is the Gentile within us, it is the Yetzer Hara, which says Lam, which asks why. The Chernobyl Rebbe, this is a Meridik Maisa, unbelievable story. This story, need if I bring in to explain the story, to digest the story, to grow the story. Chernobyl Rebbe was once asked a question by one of his Chassidim. I think this question, this story may give some insight, maybe make it more vivid, instead of just being a speech. The Shalom Rebbe said, he had a chassid who asked him a question, a very difficult question about Hashem, difficult question. So the Shalom Rebbe slaps him in the face. It wasn't a slap of anger, it wasn't a slap of being upset. He slapped him out of love. He said to him, "You ask such a good question, so why do you need an answer? If you can ask such a good question, then why do you think you need an answer? You should know you don't need an answer." You understand what he said? If you're able to ask such a deep question, that means you don't need an answer. You understand what he said? In other words, the fact that Hashem put you in such a position that you have such a hard question to deal with, that means you don't need the answer. That means that Hashem trusts you. That means you have something in you. You have the unique ability to handle that. Someone else looking at you like, we all have, and no one wants to switch bags. Even though we all look at each other and like, I wish I could switch with that guy, because that's only because we don't know the whole story. As it says in the Ten Commandments, don't be jealous of your neighbor's wife, of your neighbor's donkey, of your neighbor's house, and all that belongs to your neighbor. What's the addition of and all that belongs to your neighbor? What's the extra and all? Your neighbor's computer. What's it adding? It's adding that if you knew all that was going on in your neighbor's house, you wouldn't want to switch. You only want to switch because you see a tiny little bit. If you knew the whole thing, you say, well, let me have my bag, let him have his. So this is the Torah is telling us this week about the division line of Israel. First of all, if you see you have a gift of Hashem, if you don't know it, ask your friends. You know that gift, the gold that you were given, the extra stuff you were given has a purpose. Number one. Number two, I want to say another point, which I didn't say before. The same Talmud also says, if you see that you're very handsome, don't succumb to promiscuity. Just like we have gifts of Hashem that we need to be used in the positive, so too each of us has unique challenges. We keep on falling in the same things again and again, the same mistakes again and again. But the gate of heaven, if there's something that Hashem gave us are uniquely to our soul, that if we were focused on that thing that Hashem uniquely challenges us with, that thing is what unlocks everything else. That thing will lift up everything else. That's why it was so hard, for example, for Adam and Eve not to eat from the tree of knowledge. Like we look at the story, like, what are these guys crazy? Don't eat from the tree 4 hours. It's like nuts and mishuga. They got direct command from Hashem. Suffice it to say, because it was so important, because it was so critical to their life's mission, that's why it's so hard. In a similar way, we find, the Rebbe once said, the evil inclination would be okay with you skipping this mitzvah, skipping that mitzvah, as long as he can get you. He's okay with you doing this mitzvah, doing that mitzvah, as long as he can get you to not focus on your real important mission you need to do. There's something that you uniquely have a hard time with, and that's the thing you need to focus on. And the Yitzhar is like, okay, do this. I don't care if you do this mitzvah. I don't care if you do that mitzvah. That's okay. But your mitzvah, your neshama uniquely does that elevates everything else. For example, by Adam and Eve, they're not eating the tree of knowledge would have elevated the whole world. Similarly, in ourselves, we resist that tree of knowledge in our life, which we have keep on going back to again and again. We put all our energy to be where Hashem wants us to be. That elevates and draws down the real abundance, the real bracha from Hashem. The unique thing which is our unique soul mission. A friend of mine, he was by the Rebbe, and he asked the Rebbe for a tikkun for his soul. Various things that his soul. What's his name? Rabbi Yossi Gordon from Melbourne. He said that he asked the Rebbe for a tikkun for something, and the Rebbe said to him, "Milia hashlichus, fulfilling your mission that you have, that the Rebbe entrusted him with. That's the tikkun. That's what to rectify all the things that are going on." We have to focus on the mission that Hashem gave us, both in the positive and the gifts that Hashem gave us, and to resist.
They asked about Yad HaChamisha, the guys that were killed.
Yeah.
What the Rebbe answered? What they asked? בהמשך הבנייה תרוחם. The Rebbe don't לחמוד by the not for the Rebbe.
אומרים מהסיפור הזה, אבל יש הרבה יותר מהסיפור. There was a Jew named Rabbi Hecht. I'll tell you two more things, let you guys go. Rabbi Hecht was Rebbe's emissary to New Haven, Connecticut. He was an amazing person. He built a school there. He was very close to my grandfather, very special man, Rabbi Hecht. He built a school. And he writes to Rebbe one day, I want to quit. It's just not working. It's impossible. Send somebody else. The Rebbe said, I sent someone really good. And if you haven't met him yet, as soon as you meet him, all your issues you have will dissipate. His name is Moshe Hecht. Get to know him. Your trust in Hashem and your happiness and your energy. Just get to know Moshe Hecht, and it'll all be solved. That's the answer. And this is the meaning. It says in the Talmud. Let's conclude with this. It says in the Talmud, Mashiach will come. It says nowadays the Gemara says everyone has their share in Israel. One person has a wheat field, one person has a barley field, one person has an orchard. Everyone has different, and no one. If you have the barley field and the wheat field, you don't have the orchard. But Mashiach will come. It says everyone will have the wheat field and the barley field and the orchard. What does that mean? What's the Talmud telling us? Right now, everyone's focusing on their thing, and they're supposed to. The lottery says, you have to do this. On the other hand, there's also the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol. The breastplate, the Chaim Brisker says, represents something else. The Goydel, the lottery, can only tell you which way you should focus on. But to actually acquire the portion in Israel, that came through the Urim and Tumim. The Urim and Tumim had the names of all the tribes, and the letters glowed. Letters protruded and glowed of what the vision of what the message that he was given to say was. So the Chaim Brisker said that what actually caused you to acquire the land of Israel was the Urim V'Tumim. But by being in the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol, that's what actually made the Chalei Sakinyan, that's what actually transferred that part of Israel to you. What that means spiritually is this. We all have our thing we need to focus on, but we're all in this together. Meaning, as the Tzemach Tzedek said, someone asked him, what should I do? I want to move to Israel. What did Tzemach Tzedek say? Make here Israel. Israel is one entity. Israel is one place. Everyone has their own share, but ultimately Israel is indivisible. It's one thing. But by you focusing on your share in the land of Israel, that's how you'll see the vision of the Urim V'Tumim, the Kohen Gadol, when Mashiach will come, how your focus on your role in this world actually brought about the coming Mashiach, when you'll see that everyone's share contributed to that moment. But you focus on where you are, you'll suddenly see, when Mashiach comes, we'll see how although I was doing the wheat field, the one last thing I'll tell you. My grandfather, this is the last thing.
Also in the video.
I have to keep...
Doctor goes to the Rebbe and tells him, I'm from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I'm doctor from Los Angeles.
Dr. Kain.
And I want to move to Israel.
Yeah.
תחזור ללוס אנג'לס, תרפא יהודים.
Okay.
מה חזור את ישראל?
There was a guy in Worcester, Massachusetts, like Rabbi Glick from Melbourne, Australia. He was in Worcester, Massachusetts, and the Rebbe told my grandfather that he's coming for a short amount of time, that he's going to go to Melbourne, and the Rebbe pacified my grandfather because he had to lose this really good employee. And the Rebbe said to him that the whole world, the Gemara says, the whole world is connected. His success in Australia will help you in Worcester, Massachusetts. His success in Melbourne will, because it's all connected. So whenever my grandfather had a time, he would call him and say, what's going on over there? Anyways, point is, on the one hand, we all have our own share in the land of Israel. On the other hand, when Mashiach will come, we'll see how it's all one, how each of us contribute to this big puzzle. We'll see when Mashiach comes, how we're all connected to each other. But we have to focus, each of us, on our portion, and thereby to bring the Kabbalah coming to Mashiach, and we'll see the emes, the truth, how we're all in this together, and we'll see how we're all connected to each other. Who washed?